He had led Vicky Kurtz to the couch. No. Vicky had just gone right over and sat down on it. He had said, "I'm sorry for your loss," and Vicky Kurtz had sobbed like an overinflated balloon. He held her in his arms as she sobbed, and that night he brought his suit to the dry cleaners. But Lindsay Salmon was another thing altogether. She was gifted, one of the 20 students from a school who had been selected for the statewide gifting symposium. The only trouble in her file was a slight altercation early in the year when a teacher reprimanded her for bringing obscene literature, Fear of Flying, into the classroom. "Make her laugh," I wanted to say to him. "Bring her to a Marx Brothers movie. Sit on a fart cushion. Show her the boxes you have on with the little devils eating hot dogs on them." All I could do was talk, but no one on earth could hear me. The school district made everyone take tests and then decided who was gifted and who was not. I like to suggest to Lindsay that I was much more pissed off by her hair than by my Dumbo status. We had both been born with masses of blonde hair, but mine quickly fell out and was replaced with a grudging growth of mousy brown. Lindsay stayed and acquired a sort of mythical place. She was the only true blonde in our family. But once called gifted, it had spurred her on to live up to the name. She locked herself in the bedroom and read big books. When I read, "Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret," she read Camus's Resistance, Rebellion and Death. She might not have gotten most of it, but she carried it around, and that made people, including teachers, begin to leave her alone. "What I'm saying, Lindsay, is that we all miss Susie," Mr. Caden said. She did not respond. "She was very bright," he tried. She stared blankly at him now. "It's on your shoulders now." He had no idea what he was saying, but he thought the silence might mean he was getting somewhere. "You're the only Salmon girl now." Nothing. "You know who came in to see me this morning?" Mr. Caden had held back his big finish, the one he was sure would work. "Mr. Jewett. He's considering coaching a girls' team," Mr. Caden said. "The idea is all centered around you. He's watched how good you are, as competitive as his boys, and he thinks other girls would come out if you led the charge. What do you say?" Inside, my sister's heart closed like a fist. I'd say it would be pretty hard to play soccer on the soccer field when it's approximately 20 feet from where my sister was supposedly murdered. Score. Mr. Caden's mouth opened and he stared at her. "Anything else?" Lindsay asked. "No, Mr. Caden reached out his hand again. There was a thread still, a desire to understand. "I want you to know how sorry we are," he said. "I'm late for first period," she said. In that moment, she reminded me of a character in the westerns my father loved, the ones we watched together on late-night TV. There was always a man who, after he shot his gun, raised the pistol to his lips and blew air across the opening. Lindsay got up and took the walk out of Principal Caden's office slowly. The walks away were her only rest time. Secretaries were on the other side of the door. Teachers were at the front of the class. Students in every desk. Our parents at home. Police coming by. She would not break. I watched her. Felt the lines she repeated over and over again in her head. Fine. All of it is fine. I was dead, but that was something that happened all the time. People died. As she left the outer office that day, she appeared to be looking into the eyes of the secretaries, but she was focusing on their misapplied lipstick or two-piece paisley crepe de chine instead. At home that night, she lay on the floor of her room and braced her feet under her bureau. She did 10 sets of sit-ups. Then she got into push-up position. Not the girls' kind. Mr. Jewett had told her about the kind he had done in the Marines, head up or one-handed, clapping between. After she did 10 push-ups, she went to her shelf and chose the 2 heaviest books, her dictionary and a world almanac. She did bicep curls until her arms ached. She focused only on her breathing, the in, the out. I sat in the gazebo in the main square of my heaven. Our neighbours, the O'Dwyers, had had a gazebo. I had grown up jealous for one, and watched my sister rage. Hours before I died, my mother hung on the refrigerator a picture that Buckley had drawn. In the drawing, a thick blue line separated the air and the ground. In the days that followed, I watched my family walk back and forth past that drawing, and I became convinced that that thick blue line was a real place, and in between, where heaven's horizon met earth's. I wanted to go there into the cornflower blue of Crayola, the royal, the turquoise, the sky. Often I found myself desiring simple things, and I would get them, riches in fairy packages, dogs. Every day in my heaven, tiny dogs and big dogs, dogs of every kind, ran through the park outside my room. When I opened the door, I saw them fat and happy, skinny and hairy, lean and hairless even. Pit bulls rolled on their backs, the nipples of the females distended and dark, begging for their pups to come and suckle them, happy in the sun. Bassets tripped over their ears, ambling forward, nudging the rumps of Dachshunds, the ankles of greyhounds, and the heads of the pecking geese. And when Holly took her tenor sax, set herself up outside the door, and looked onto the park and played the blues, the hounds all ran to form her chorus. On their haunches they sat wailing. Often doors opened then, and women stepped out from where they lived alone or with roommates. I would step outside. Holly would go into an endless encore, the sun going down, and we would dance with the dogs, all of us together. We chased them, they chased us. We circled tail to tail. We wore spotted gowns, flower gowns, striped gowns, plain. When the moon was high, the music would stop. The dancing stopped. We froze. Mrs. Bethel Utemeyer, the oldest resident of my heaven, would bring out her violin. Holly tread lightly on her horn. They would do a duet. One woman old and silent, one woman not past girl yet. Back and forth, a crazy schizoid solace they create. All the dancers would slowly go inside. The song reverberated until Holly, for a final time, passed the tune over, and Mrs. Utemeyer, quiet, upright, historical, finished with the jig. The house asleep by then. This was my evensong.